What's up, my brothers and sisters? Is there sometimes a child inside you that wants to throw a tantrum? Do you ever feel like you just want to lose it and snap? Feel like there's a kid inside you that just wants to wreak havoc and destroy stuff? Or just act out? Or maybe you don't feel like it's an inner child. Maybe it's just a party that gets frustrated, but it can sometimes feel like you're not even yourself, or it's a different part of you. Well, that's because there are different parts of us. There's a great book called The Body Keeps the Score by Dr. Bessel van der Kolk. And it's an amazing book I consider essential reading for anybody that wants to understand their brain, their body, their nervous system, and how human beings respond to stress, how we internalize it, and how it shows up in our bodies. But part of this book is a great explanation about internal family systems, IFS. It's also called parts work. And essentially it talks about the different parts inside of us that exist. There's a baby inside of us, a child inside of us, an adolescent, a teenager, 20-something, however old you are. At different stages, there's different iterations of who you are. And if one of those parts carries wounds, sometimes those wounds will be triggered. And if those wounds get triggered, that part of us can kind of take over and throw a bit of a tantrum and really wants that wound to be seen and heard and tended to. My name is Ed Hegan. I'm a former New York City firefighter, and I'm a mindfulness meditation coach. And I teach people to deal with stress and find inner peace by understanding their emotions and learning to regulate their nervous system. Now, I'm not a doctor or a clinician, so if you need professional medical help or some sort of pharmaceutical intervention for any mental health challenges, be sure to see a doctor. I'm just a person who's been through some tough stuff as a New York City firefighter and had to learn about my emotions and how to deal with emotions as an adult. A lot of these things I simply was not taught as a child. Thankfully, I've been meditating for years, since I'm a teenager, when a professor introduced me to meditation in college. And as life went on and I became involved in a stressful profession like firefighting, I learned that my meditation and breath work could help me develop greater awareness around some of the challenges I was facing. And one of the challenges was this parts work and recognizing that there was a wounded inner child inside of me. And so today's meditation is simply going to be to connect with the parts of us that sometimes feel unseen, unheard, and unacknowledged. And if we can simply sit with those parts of ourselves and feel what needs to be felt, we can tend to that part of us that needs attention. We can tend to the wound that is being carried by a former version of us. And if we learn to feel those feelings, to express them in a healthy, creative way, if we learn the lessons that these wounds are trying to teach us, we can then integrate that knowledge into our well-being and let go of some of the things we've been carrying for a long time. So one of the things we can start with is by sitting up straight, and we can start by taking a deep breath in through the nose and filling up our belly. So let's start by exhaling all the air out of our lungs. Inhale slowly through the nose, filling up your belly. And slowly blow it out like smoke. Once again, long, slow, deep inhale through the nose, fill your belly. Blow it out slowly. Continue to breathe deeply in through the nose slowly, filling up your belly, and connect with your body, connect with your body, connect with the present moment, connect with your breath, connect with yourself, and breathe slowly and deeply through the nose, filling your belly. You can close your eyes if it feels better. And simply ask yourself, what part of me needs attention right now? Invite some gentle curiosity or awareness without judging anything around what parts of you are calling for your attention. And you can ask yourself, how does this part of me feel right now? And where do I feel this in my body? And let's connect this emotion of what we're feeling to a physical sense of what we're feeling in our body. And we can more deeply connect with ourselves, with the present moment, with what we're feeling right now. Maybe it's a little stress, a little tension. Maybe there's some sadness. Maybe there's some grief. Maybe some shame or some guilt, resentment, regrets, whatever they are. Ask yourself what you're feeling and where you're feeling it in your body. If we can simply acknowledge that what we're feeling is a way of our body responding to stress, we can actually simply put our hand on our belly and say, hey, thank you. Thank you to that part for bringing my attention there and letting me know where I need to feel more safe, where I'm feeling fear, where I'm feeling sadness, where I'm feeling alone, disconnected. Breathe deeply into the belly and say, thank you for protecting me. In this way, you can build trust with the parts of yourself that feel unseen and unheard. It may just feel simply unrecognized and feels good to be acknowledged and seen. And what does this part of you want to know? Let's open up some space for communication between our inner wisdom and the wounded aspects of our soul. Can we simply build trust and connection with ourselves by being grateful for this connection and communication from our mind and our body and our nervous system, and even from an inner child and a version of us that existed many years ago? Thank you for guiding me through this process of bringing attention to something that might feel embarrassing sometimes. And maybe we're never taught to feel sadness or grief or understand shame or guilt for the things you are feeling naturally. And you could let yourself know that it's okay that you feel these things. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel afraid. There was probably a caretaker that you needed to protect you that wasn't there. And so what do you want this part of you to know? What does this part of you need to feel? What is this earlier version of you holding on to that it doesn't need to hold on to anymore? And what are you holding on to that doesn't belong to you anymore? You can ask yourself, what part am I holding on to that doesn't belong to me anymore? What pain or fear am I feeling that I don't need to be afraid of anymore? And what would my body feel like right now if I could let go of this burden, if I could let go of this heaviness, if I could let go of this pain? As I breathe deeply through the nose into the belly, what would it feel like if I could release this burden? And what part of me needs to be seen to be free from this burden? What needs to be felt? What experience needs to be had? How can I create space to feel what needs to be felt so I can release this burden and be free of it? And what does this part of me need to feel safe and loved? This inner child might have been going through something very difficult and felt very alone at the time. So what does this part of me need to feel safe and loved in this moment? And in this way, we can reparent ourselves in the ways that our parents probably just didn't know how to. And maybe we can offer some forgiveness to a caretaker who just did the best they could with what they had, or maybe they didn't do the best they could with what they had, but maybe they just weren't there for you in the way that you needed it. And maybe you can now step in and as the emotionally intelligent version of yourself, offer love, kindness, compassion, and acceptance to this part of you. And now you can become for yourself the very thing that you needed when you were a child. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Feel what needs to be felt. And can you invite your true self now, your true self, this new version, the emotionally intelligent version that is practicing awareness and creating space to heal this inner child? Can you now invite your true self to claim this calm, compassionate, loving, healing, accepting part of you, and offer some love and affection to this inner child, and encourage this wound to heal, and offer that safety and the space to let go of something that no longer belongs to you? Can we anchor this healing process in the presence of this new self, in the presence of the present moment? Can we offer this space, this peace, this calm, and this safety to feel what needs to be felt, to breathe deeply, and to release some of the things that no longer belong to us? Is there a part of you that is ready to be released today? Is there something that a part of you has been carrying for days, weeks, months, years, maybe decades, that is simply ready to be released and let go right now? This offers you an opportunity to let something go. It's an invitation with permission giving for you to let something go. And you might even visualize some things that you're letting go. And as you slowly breathe in through the nose, maybe there's something you're feeling, like an air or a heat or a feeling, an overwhelm, sadness, a water, a temperature, an energy that just wants to flow and release through the breath, through your head, through your belly. However it feels like it needs to be released, maybe you can just gently move around and release what needs to be released. Maybe you want to pick up the journal after this and write about what your inner child was feeling, what it was holding on to, how you've shown up now as your true authentic self, and now given yourself permission to release and let go of these things that have been burdening you for so many years and that no longer belong to you. And in this way, you not only show up as the best version of yourself in the present moment, not only do you show up as the version of yourself to become for yourself the very thing that you needed to keep you whole, protected, and safe, but also to see and hear and understand that inner child and those wounded parts of yourself. And in this way, as you heal yourself, as you create space to feel more safe and loved, you can actually give yourself the love, compassion, kindness, and understanding that this part of you needed. And not only do you give it to that child within you, you give it to the adolescent, the teenager, the adult versions of you that needed that nourishment, that needed that guidance, and needed to feel safe and loved and whole. And you can even remind yourself that you value yourself, you love yourself, you care for yourself, and you will make sure that your true self keeps all those parts of you safe. As you hear yourself, see yourself, understand yourself, and accept yourself, you become more whole. These parts, the internal family system, and these parts of you, once their wounds are healed, they no longer need to act out like petulant child or adolescents. They now become integrated into the whole. So pay attention if you're feeling something. Sit with it. Ask yourself if your inner child needs some acceptance and love. And sit with those feelings. Feel what needs to be felt. Learn the lesson. Let it go. And integrate that knowledge into this new version of you. That's our meditation for today. If you want to learn more or work with me one-on-one, if you're feeling overwhelmed, stressed out, anxious or you're feeling stuck. Or maybe you want to receive a guided meditation that's custom tailored for the challenges you're facing in your life. You can reach out and book a free discovery call at edwoodstock.com. And thanks for tuning in. I hope you tune in next time.